Brought to you by Penguin.
Novacene, The Coming Age of Hyperintelligence, by James Lovelock, with Brian Appleyard. Read by Roy McMillan. We live in an old chaos of the sun. Wallace Stevens. Preface. It is a great honour to have helped James Lovelock finish what will probably be his last book. I say probably because experience has taught me never to guess what Jim will do next. Though he is now a very old man, a quiet retirement seems the least likely prospect, but he is toying with the idea, as he admitted in an email. Now that I am approaching 100 years, it is easy to believe that I have little more to contribute. Like running a marathon, I know the agony of running that last hill that faces me. I might as well stop trying and let the young runners complete the course. I laughed when I read this, first because I find it hard to imagine any young runner replacing Jim, and secondly because I did not believe him. The truth is, there could always be another book, just as there are always new ideas, new ways of looking, new ways of thinking. While working with him on this book, I actually had to ask him to stop thinking and start explaining, otherwise the task would never have been completed. Jim's imagination is as thrillingly unexpected as it is alarmingly incisive. I once saw him sitting silently at a dinner party full of very bright, very serious people, and then stun them into silence with a single sentence that overturned everything they had just been talking about. And he always grows suspicious when he finds people agreeing with him. What have we got wrong? He asks. He constantly looks for refutations and for different perspectives, and he insists on the inherent uncertainty of scientific ideas. This makes his own ideas very robust indeed. They have been tested to destruction so many times. It is, of course, how all scientists should think and work, but many don't, which is why in recent years Jim has taken to calling himself an engineer. He can be bewildering on first contact. I first met him many years ago at his laboratory in Coombe Mill. I just didn't understand him, and I remember thinking I'd fallen through a looking-glass into a world utterly different from the one I thought I knew. He told me about his Gaia hypothesis, but I did not grasp the idea, perhaps because, as he says in this new book, it is not expressible in ordinary logical forms. This is not because it is complex, though in detail it is, but because at its core is a pristine simplicity. Life and the Earth are an interacting whole, and the planet can be seen as a single organism. There you have it. Once I understood this, it seemed so blindingly obvious that I assumed nobody could possibly disagree. In fact, back then, everybody did. Some still do, and some are Gaians but pretend they aren't, but most now acknowledge that Jim has altered forever our understanding of our lives and our planet. People often talk of the value of thinking outside the box, but they seldom mention the much greater value of thinking as Jim does, as if there is no box. He is so widely qualified, primarily in medical science and chemistry, but seemingly in everything once he starts talking, that no one discipline can ever hope to contain him. He is, as far as the institution of science is concerned, an outsider, a maverick, but that has not stopped him being garlanded with awards and honours. His nomination for the Fellowship of the Royal Society listed his work on the transmission of respiratory infections, air sterilization, blood clotting, the freezing of living cells, artificial insemination, gas chromatography, and so on. That was in 1974, and only briefly mentioned is the discipline that made him famous, climate science and his associated work on the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Then there is his ability to invent and construct his own gadgets, notably the revolutionary electron capture detector, maybe even the microwave oven, and the numerous secret gadgets he created while working for the intelligence service. Now, 40 years after he introduced us to his goddess in his book Gaia, A New Look at Life on Earth, he introduces us to a new idea just as astounding and just as radical. Novacene is Jim's name for a new geological epoch of the planet, an age that succeeds the Anthropocene, which began in 1712 and is already coming to a close. That age was defined by the ways in which humans had attained the ability to alter the geology and ecosystems of the entire planet. The Novacene, which Jim suggests may have already begun, is when our tech...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?